I've been making my way across the world since I was about 6 months old. And along my adventures, I've encountered some tips and tricks that I love sharing with you. And we're going to cover some of the basics to help make your travel dreams a reality. So let's talk about passports. Do you need one? Well, the short answer is always yes. You never know when you might have that unexpected opportunity to go out of the country, and it's better to already have one handy than to scramble and try to rush to get a passport for you. There are some cruises where you leave and return back into a U.S. port where you don't necessarily need a passport, but I always recommend that you always have one just in case. You never know what's going to happen in the world, so it's better to be prepared and to have it just in case. Now, if you've never had a passport or if you're renewing, there's an easy way to get that done. Just go to travel.state.gov. That is the official website to get all of your passport needs covered. There are third parties out there, but you honestly don't really need them. You can get everything you need done with travel.state.gov. So what you're going to do is click on get a U.S. passport, and then from there, it really is step-by-step instructions. Whether you're getting your passport for the very first time, you maybe need to get a passport for your minor child that's under the age of 16, or maybe you need to renew your passport. And if that's the case, it's actually great news right now because they have updated their systems. You can now renew everything online. Nothing you need to mail in anymore, which is fantastic. It speeds up the process, and there's no guarantees. But my experience recently is that you can actually get your passport within 7 to 10 days from renewing it online. And like I said, you don't need to mail in your passport anymore, your old one. They'll just go ahead and send you your new one. So take advantage of that. And again, everything is done at travel.state.gov. So you've got a passport, but do you know right now, when does your passport expire? If you don't know what year it is, take this moment right now and go double check it. You know, you can renew if it expires within a year. Don't wait until the very last minute when you need to renew it. If it's expiring within a year, you can go ahead and renew if you're not planning on traveling in the immediate future, and then that way you've got it handy again. Also, if you already have a passport, but maybe the edges are bent, if it had some water damage, if you don't have at least 2 to 3 blank pages towards the back, you will also need to go ahead and apply for a new passport through that website as well. They do make it invalid, and you will get turned around when you're at the airport if they deem that it is invalid for some reason. So always make sure you do that. When you're going to the airport, first of all, I always recommend storing your passport in some kind of sleeve. So these are great. What I personally carry is one like this. I put all of everyone's passports that I'm traveling with up front, and then on the inside, it's got lots of room for maybe your credit cards, your travel documents, if you're renting a car, if you've got your hotel confirmations, all of that can go in here. It's one easy little pouch, and you can drop it in your bag, your purse, anything like that. It's very handy, and everything's all in one spot for all of your travel. Now, when you're walking up to the TSA, or you are walking up into customs, and you need to present your passport to an officer, you want to remove your passport completely from that sleeve. They will not take it while it's in this cover. This is the only proper way to present your passport. So go ahead and save the time and everything and everybody behind you. Go ahead and remove that passport before you hand it to the officer or customs agent. And then also, again, make sure that you've got no damaged corners. It all looks very good and clean. There's no water damage. Now's the time to go ahead and take a look at if so. Now, when you're in destination, and maybe sometimes you're going on a cruise and you're stopping in to like coming out of Galveston, you go to Cozumel or one of those stops in Mexico, and you stop and you go, wow, they didn't stamp my passport. You had to bring it, but they didn't stamp it when you went through customs. Well, they have these little shacks, and they'll give you a novelty stamp, and they'll offer that to you, and it seems like a great idea. But don't do that in your actual passport. Maybe bring along something else that you can get stamped, because if you get one of those novelty stamps, if it's not an official stamp from customs, it does make your passport invalid. So don't get the novelty little fun stamps in here, just the official ones that come from the customs agents. There are people out there who say, you know what, I got a custom stamp and my passport still works. That's great, but just know you've gotten away with it, but just know that legally it becomes invalid if you do anything to it. without a official stamp on it. Now, when you're booking your flights, make sure that you are booking those flights in the exact same name that your passport is in. You don't want to, if you maybe got married, you changed your name of some kind. It doesn't matter what your ID says. When you're traveling internationally, make sure it's matching what your passport says on that. Also want to make sure that your hotel matches what your passport says as well. A lot of places in Europe, I've been to a couple of boutique hotels where when you go to check in, they ask you for your passport, and it's okay. Sometimes they'll write down your passport number. They may take a photocopy of it. That's for their own records and for safety and security reasons as well. Just they've got a record of where you're staying. Sometimes they have to turn it into the government on where you're staying. It's part of your visa that they know where you are when you're in their country. But just know that they want that passport to also match your hotel reservation. So again, another reason just to make sure that everything's seamless, is all in the exact same name. And then when you get into the hotel, now you're settled, you're ready to go out on excursions. So now what do you do with your passport? Well, what I do is I take a photocopy of the main page of my passport that has my photo. It's got my passport number, and it knows when it expires. I take a picture of that page, and then also flip to the very last page of your passport. There is a little barcode and there's some numbers on there. Take a picture of that page as well. So that way you've always got it stored on your phone. And if you want to be extra careful, you can take a photocopy of it while you're at home and stick that in a safe place, either at the house and or also inside your luggage somewhere that you also have a photocopy of it. In the hotel room, I personally I lock my passport up in my actual luggage, and then I use my TSA lock to lock it and make it secure instead of putting it in the safe. That's just a personal option. You can save it wherever you would like to, but I try not to bring it out into town with me when I'm out on excursions, unless some specific excursions do require you to bring your passport, and that's okay. So I'll bring it with me then, and I'll wear it in a fanny pack, something close to me, but normally I don't take it out of the hotel with me. The reason why is because that's the most important document to me while I'm on vacation. So I want to make sure it is safe and secure. It doesn't accidentally fall out of my pocket. It doesn't get any water damage. It doesn't get pickpocketed, anything like that. So I want to make sure it's safe and secure inside the hotel. If for some reason I'm stopped by a police or other official and they need to see my passport, usually being able to show them the information on your phone is okay. If they want to actually have the physical passport, then they can escort me back to the hotel where I can retrieve it for them. But for the most part, again, unless it's required on one of your excursions, or if you're going to leave that general area and cross lines, then you do need to bring it again with you. But generally, it's okay to leave inside the hotel room as long as you've got some photocopies and stuff on it too. And also, in the unfortunate case you do lose it or it gets stolen, anything happens to your passport while you are overseas, just be sure to look up the nearest embassy, and you can present them either the information that you have on your phone, or they also have you saved into their system. They can easily get you a new one and get you on your way. Like and subscribe for more basics to make your travel dreams a reality, and you can also reach out at kinkaidtravel.com.